Welcome back, everybody. I feel like there's been too much seriousness lately, so I'm going to try and do something a little more fun today. I found this website with Christian news, and one of the articles is about a guy who wrote in asking about how to talk to his kids about death. He says that he doesn't want to lie about people who he thinks probably didn't go to heaven, but he doesn't want to scare his child and bring him anxiety. So then it goes on to explain 5 things to remember when your child asks about hell. Number 1, the fear of hell is a great opportunity to communicate to children the greatness of God. So, in other words, hell sucks, but if you don't bend over and take it for God, then you're a piece of human garbage. So, you deserve to rot in hell for eternity. Look, I'm not going to tell other people how to raise their children, but I, for one, am not going to tell my child this nonsense. Alright, let's continue. Number 2, the fear of hell is a great opportunity to communicate to children the seriousness of sin. Really? That's number 2? That's almost the same goddamn thing. The only difference is this time it's not about blowing God, it's about doing anything God disapproves of. Good thing the Bible is so crystal clear and isn't open for interpretation. Oh wait, that's exactly how the Bible works? Well, shit, never mind. Number 3, the fear of hell is a great opportunity to communicate to children that God's judgment is just. The fear of hell again? Really? Okay, so I'm supposed to tell my kids it's okay to be afraid of hell, but you don't have to be afraid because God won't send you there unless you deserve it. I mean, who knows what God thinks, or if I'm reading the Bible right, or if the Bible is even the correct holy book. But don't worry about any of that. If you get sent to hell, it's okay because it's all your fault. Number 4, the fear of hell is a great opportunity to communicate to children that the reality of death and judgment highlights their need for a savior. Well, unless there's just death, but no judgment. Like, if there isn't a God and there isn't an afterlife, then they don't need a savior. But yeah, I mean, if the Bible is true, then sure, they need a savior. But all that really means is that if the Bible is true, then the Bible is true. But we didn't need this article to tell us that. Number 5, the fear of hell is a great opportunity to communicate to children that Christ allows them to experience a fearless life of faith. Fearless life of faith, this shit sounds scary as fuck. I mean, I don't believe it, so it's not scary to me, but if I was a child and was told this, I probably would have had this crap scared out of me. Luckily, I wasn't forced to believe in stuff like this. I mean, my family pretty much all believed in God and called themselves Christian, but they never tried to force any of this on me. It seems to me that it would be much easier to have a fearless life by not believing in hell, and then accepting that we all die, and that's what makes life so special. I mean, you don't have to agree with me on any of that, but I think it makes things less scary and meaningful for me personally. Also, all 5 of the answers were just the fear of hell. So the whole article could be summed up as, what should you tell your children when they ask about hell? To fear hell. It would have been a lot shorter, and it would have conveyed all the same points in a much more concise manner. They also found this article about 10 times God used animals to accomplish his goal. The first is from the time when God thought it was necessary to kill everyone on the face of the earth except some dude and his family, which, by the way, was already pretty incestuous since they were all supposedly descended from the same 2 people. But then God thinks, man, how can I make humans even more terrible? I know, I can force them to do the thing that causes their genes to be more likely to have defects, and that's why people tend to be so stupid. I mean, not really, because none of that actually happened, but I mean, we have to blame someone, right? So, why not blame God? I mean, why take responsibility for our own faults? That'd be too hard. So the next one is the time that God sent animals to infest Egypt. You know, right before he killed a bunch of innocent children? That time. Alright, and then next is the time that God made a donkey talk, which talking animals would no doubt be a miracle, but in this case, the real miracle was that this was the first time an ass made noise that didn't smell really bad. Then there was also that time that God sent bears to kill some of his followers. That's some pretty gruesome shit. But then the last 2 examples aren't even Bible examples. They're just supposed real-life examples that have other articles written about them. The first was about a lion who supposedly saved some Christians from Islamic extremists. This happened in a place where lions don't even live, so it seems to me like maybe the man, who was a pastor, was traumatized by the fear of almost being killed. So then that trauma caused his brain to play tricks on him. And being a religious leader, the rest of the group just kind of believed it unquestioningly, and maybe even over a short period of time just came to believe it as well. But I don't know, I guess maybe there was some random lion that showed up somehow. But I mean, that still doesn't really seem like God did much of anything. The lion kind of did all the work. And finally, a wild boar that attacked ISIS militants. Man, God sure is pissed at Muslims lately. Good thing Christians just so happen to pick the right God. I mean, it's not like they could have been confirming their own bias rather than thinking about it critically. Anyways, that's all for today. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and you can leave a comment to let me know what you think. Also, you can subscribe to my channel if you like my content, and you can also follow me on social media. The links are in the descriptions. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.